English gentleman here at Robusto Cigars, the home of the English gentleman. And I'm here with Sam again. Sam, gentleman and a scholar. Now Sam, I've got the question that everybody's been asking me.
Okay.
Does size matter? So I guess what they're referring to is the ring size and the size of the cigar.
Absolutely.
Now, when I was in China, I lived there for 4 years, I noticed a gentleman at a local cigar bar, and he actually had a 80 ring.
Wow.
Which is quite big. Now, he smoked literally a quarter of it and then put the rest out. So that tells me he wasn't really used to smoking a cigar of that size.
Yeah.
So could you give us a brief description and more introduction to what the size of the ring is and also burn time, please?
Absolutely. These days, the cigar makers have proliferated so widely that they're making cigars, like you said, of pretty much any size, even 80 ring, which is just almost like a Coke can, basically. It's so big. So there's some of them are kind of like not really for everyday smoking or anything like that. It's just too much tobacco,
right.
Too big. But the most common sizes that people do smoke go all the way up to maybe like a 60 or even a 64, such as this. This is called the Inch from EP Carrillo, and this one's a 64 ring gauge. So I could see someone smoking this on a regular basis, but this is pretty much the maximum that anybody would smoke on a regular basis.
Right.
But so anyway, but obviously the bigger the ring gauge, the more tobacco is in the cigar.
Right.
So naturally it's going to take you longer to smoke this cigar, and you got to be prepared to consume this much tobacco in one sitting,
mm-hmm.
and not get overwhelmed by it. So you pretty much want to pace yourself a little bit, take your time with this kind of this size of a cigar. Having said that, cigar tobacco is fermented very fully,
mm-hmm.
and it's aged for
right.
several months, years, depending on the company. So it's not that overwhelming to smoke a cigar such as this.
Right.
But again, you want to make sure you pace yourself and take your time when you're smoking a big cigar.
So really you need to be able to set time aside. You can't rush a cigar.
You can't rush a cigar.
Right.
That's the bottom line. That's the main objective. When you're smoking a cigar, you need to relax and
right.
take your time and enjoy it. And then, so there's a size such as this one, which is kind of like a traditional Churchill size.
Right.
And this one's the Opus X Lost City. And this is a very tasty cigar. So something like this would probably take you about an hour to smoke if you pace yourself properly, hour and 15 minutes. And there's not too much tobacco here, but it's kind of long. So again, you may want to pace yourself on this one also.
And what kind of body is on that? Is it like medium or full or?
This one is medium to full.
Okay.
Medium to full.
It looks a great cigar.
So this is kind of like a nice after dinner type of cigar.
Right.
Yeah, I always want to stress that cigar tobacco is very well aged, very well fermented. So it's not like, if you don't rush through a cigar,
mm-hmm.
if you don't hot box it, you'll be just fine.
So there are specific cigars then that you could literally smoke at specific times of the day.
Yeah, generally people will smoke a milder cigar earlier in the day with, for example, you have your morning coffee and your croissant or whatever, and then you follow up with a small mild cigar, mild
right.
to medium, Connecticut shade, something like that. And that's what a lot of people do. And then after dinner, if you had a nice steak dinner or whatever, seafood, whatever it is, pasta, you can follow up with a little bit a more fuller bodied cigar.
Okay.
And kind of like a strong coffee after dinner.
Right.
Or a nice dessert
Right.
Any way you want to look at it. But moving on down the line, as far as sizes, we're talking about size matters here. This is a Robusto size cigar. This is from La Galera Cigars. It's a relatively new company. Well, not the cigar is relatively
Right.
new, about 2 years old. The company's been there since 1936, and very, very well-made cigar by a master blender, very experienced tobacconist, Hochi Blanco. This is a very nice cigar. I like these cigars a lot. And this is a traditional Robusto size, which is a 50 ring gauge, 5 inches long. So a traditional Robusto would probably take a person about 45 minutes
Oh, okay.
to smoke. If you took a little longer, probably go to about an hour. But this is my favorite size Robusto because it's not too big,
Right.
it's not too small,
Right.
it's just right. And yeah, so Robusto is a great size. And this one's medium to full. It's a Habano wrapper,
Okay, okay.
Dominican tobacco, very good cigar. And then there's other sizes such as this one, for example. This is the Garo long Panatella. So it's a narrower, it's a thinner cigar.
Yep.
And this one's kind of mild, and this would probably take you about half an hour to smoke. It's some people like the thinner ring gauges because the wrapper to the filler proportion is a little different in this one. So you're tasting more of the wrapper
Right.
versus this one where it's all filler basically, and just very small percentage is comprised is the wrapper itself. So basically, then you have this type of sizes also. The Panatellas, long Panatellas, Coronas, which are a little bit wider than this, but not much. Those are the main basic sizes. There's torpedoes, figurados, diademas, all kinds of Solomons, all the different shaped cigars. But I stick to just simple, straight, cigars. That doesn't necessarily have to be anything fancy.
Right.
And these, I think these cigars probably burn better because they're so simple.
Right. So not only will your palate change of what cigar you like, but also the size of the cigars is also going to change along with the palate.
Probably,
Right.
probably, because you may start with something simple, small, like this one here, and then eventually move on to a bigger cigar, more fuller bodied,
Right.
more complex tasting.
But it's also a case of like, each cigar can also be for a specific special occasion. So if you want something to give away as a gift, do you want to go with the bigger ones because it looks more grand?
Well, if you're giving a gift to someone who you're not sure what type of cigar or what size cigar they smoke, no, I would definitely not give them something like this.
Right.
I would go with a standard size,
Okay.
such as a Robusto or a Toro, maybe even a Churchill like this.
Okay.
And I would keep it in the middle there as far as body / strength. I wouldn't give them something that's too heavy,
Right.
too full-bodied, whatever that means, but still. And then, or something that's really mild, so something in the middle.
Awesome. Well, once again, Sam, you are the man in the know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, this is the English Gentleman signing out here at Robusto Cigars in Southern California. And always remember, live well, my friends.